Today on Getting Real with the Housewives, Heather Gay teases her upcoming argument with Jen Shah and her thoughts on her guilty plea.
Jen Shah and I, we throw down hard and we bounce back high. And we are no stranger to strong words within each, amongst each other. But that's kind of how friendship is.
And Lindsay Hubbard dishes on her double date night with Ashley Darby and Luke Gunvalson.
They were holding hands and he had his arm around her and on the small of her back. And Luke's always just been very, sweet with a love interest, but I haven't really seen him with many of them.
Plus, Meghan Markle was a Housewives fan, as a former Real Housewives of DC housewife claims affair with Prince Harry. And Porsha gets hitched twice. Bethenny reveals where she stands with Andy Cohen, and Louis shares his thoughts on Joe Gorga. We've got that plus so much more on today's Getting Real with the Housewives. Hey guys, Christina Garbaldi here with Us Weekly executive producer Mandy DeCamp. Welcome to Getting Real with the Housewives. We had a little break last week, so it's nice to be back in the Housewives swing of things.
It is, and we have a lot to catch up on.
Well, so much to catch up on. But before we do that, let's see what you guys had to say about last week's show. Adeline says, I don't know where Andy thinks it was a successful season, talking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. He was not watching the same show. It was a dark, horrible season. Fans will not watch if Rinna is back. When Erica's contract is up next season, she needs to leave. She is a nasty person. Ooh.
I think when Andy says that it's referring to ratings is what I assume. So if it's good ratings to Andy, it's a good season.
100%. And we've talked about this. Yes, a lot of people don't want Rinna back, but where's your drama going to come from?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I need a good break from Beverly Hills. Yes. Like I'm ready. I'm happy we have a break from it, and I want them to shake things up a bit before we get back into it.
Totally. I need to miss it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Colette Cooper said Jen Shah has more important things to deal with in a reality show. For Carol to say Bethenny is not being original, that just tells me she is still mad at the bee. Get over it. And lastly, please God, may Dorinda the Bully never be on TV again. Whoa.
Ooh.
We're fighting words.
Fighting words. Well, I feel like Dorinda's going to be back.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe Carol is still mad at Bethenny. And I agree, Jen Shah has way more important things to deal with than a reality show.
Yeah. And oh my God, this week was intense with Jen Shah.
So intense. We're going to get into it. And, lots going on in the Jen Shah world. So, but before we get to all that, this is so weird that the Royals were in the Housewives universe so much this week. So former Real House of DC star Catherine O'Mani, she detailed this alleged fling that she had with Prince Harry when he was 21 and she was 34. She told The Sun that they met at a London bar back in May of 2006 and said Harry was wearing an Australian style hat that made me laugh. So I asked him, what are you doing looking like a in that? I don't think he was used to people taking the mickey. And once we started talking, it was like there was no one else in the room. She said they left the bar. They went to a friend's house. He made her a sandwich and then they started play fighting. And she said, I think we were wrestling on and off for about 15 minutes when I told him I needed to go home. It was then that he lifted me by my waist off the floor and held me against the wall. He gave me the most incredible, passionate kiss I have ever had in my life. She claimed that they went on a few more dates. They stopped seeing each other after this kind of made some headlines. They saw each other again at a polo match in 2009. But she doesn't think that this, she spoke out because she doesn't think that this affair is going to make his upcoming book. I just can't with this.
It's amazing. I kind of believe it.
Why would you make it up?
Right.
It seems pretty detailed.
Yeah.
And, it did make headlines back in the day, apparently. And, we all just forgot about it. But yeah, so bringing it back up.
I've never been on a first date where I wrestled with someone.
No.
I don't know. Tell us in the comments. Is that the norm? I don't know.
Is that what happens? It's been a while since I've been on the dating scene, so maybe things have changed.
Maybe, although that was way back then.
True. That is true.
That's a funny story, though. I love mixing royals and housewives.
Me too.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of, Meghan Markle revealed that she wanted to be on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen during her Suits days, but she wasn't approved as a guest.
I love this.
It's so funny. During an episode of her Archetypes podcast with Andy Cohen, she said, I was so eager to be on your show because I was such a Housewives fan at the time and I just couldn't get booked, Andy. So thanks for being here with me. The Bravo exec hinted that he'd heard before that Prince Harry's future wife had tried to land a guest spot on Watch What Happens Live. Andy said, I was like, oh my God, if it turns out that Meghan Markle actually expressed an interest to be on Watch What Happens Live and we said no, It is now the biggest blunder in the 13 years of the show. Meghan admitted she stopped watching The Housewives when her life and had its own level of drama. So she stopped craving watching other people's. Mm-hmm. Meghan joked that this podcast interview was her audition for Real Housewives of Montecito. Andy told her she didn't have to try out. We'll build the show around you. And he said, how about that? This is so funny. So I worked back in the day at Food Network's The Kitchen. It's a talk show on Saturday mornings on Food Network. And I remember we were pitched Meghan and we did not book her.
I feel like this happened because if you go back to like really early interviews with her, there really aren't that many. No. I mean, she was an up and coming actress. Suits was just really getting started and had like its, niche fan base. So
it wasn't huge.
It wasn't huge. So a lot of people were like, oh, who's that girl? But, I'm not surprised that she like reached out and was hitting hard to get on Watch What Happens Live.
I remember it was back when she had that lifestyle blog, The Tig. So I remember like perusing it being like, is she a good fit for this? We don't know. But she was, when I was out in Rachel Ray's show, when I worked there, she was a guest there. So we did have her there. That was a daily show. So we had, more space, right. I guess. But
oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so insane. I mean, imagine Meghan of Montecito, like Housewives. I mean, they are doing that Netflix documentary. So anything is possible at this point.
Anything is possible with the royals.
It's so true. Well, Bethenny Frankel opened up about her friendship with Andy Cohen and claimed the pair are still on good terms, despite Andy claiming that she trashed the Real Housewives franchise. So she was on today with Hoda and Jenna, and she said, we totally are pals. And we take beach walks, and most of what we talk about on those walks is the housewives of this city, this person, that person. I texted him when it comes out, and he said, oh, fun. I'm glad to see you embrace the housewives. We're talking about her Rewives podcast that she is launching. So Andy told Page Six that he was shocked to hear about Bethenny's podcast after calling Housewives a toxic environment. She denied that she trashed the Housewives, but explained that Andy's initial reaction to her new venture was definitely because she had previously shared that she was glad to no longer be featured on the reality series. She said, I am, but they're not mutually exclusive. I'm glad I'm not there, but I do get the right to talk about it. I did it for a quarter of my life.
Was it really a quarter of her life?
I don't know about that, right?
I'd have to do the math. I don't know. It seems, I don't know. I just feel like Bethenny is saying anything possible right now to make headlines so that people hear about her podcast.
I agree with you.
That's how I feel about this story.
I totally agree with you. Yes.
And we're talking about it, so it's working.
It is working. I'll be interested to see like if a lot of people, will consistently be listening to this podcast and if they're going to, enjoy it. I mean, I'm sure she has a lot of great insight information and some really fun stories to share, but it'll be interesting to see if people want to listen to it.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be listening.
Yeah, me neither.
We don't have time. We got to watch all the Housewives shows.
Seriously.
All right. So Teresa's husband, Louis, is back in the news because he says that he's still a fan of Joe Gorga despite the feud with Teresa. So another Housewives podcast, Teresa, he was on Teresa's Namaste Bitches podcast this week. He said, I met Joe through coincidence with Teresa, and it was very humbling and settling. The first moment I met Joe, I would even say both of us became very vulnerable within the first 10 minutes of the conversation. Talked about my work as a man, working through and all that stuff. Like you just open up to him. Joe's the kind of guy you can do that to or with. He added, we went down for the day and it was beautiful. There was no complaints at all. Joe, at the core, really, your brother really is a good human being.
Well, that's nice.
Very nice. And why aren't they all friends? What is going on?
I don't know. I'm so excited for Jersey. Bring it on. They haven't had confirmed a date yet, but we're hearing rumblings that maybe it'll be in February. But I'm so ready for this. I'm so ready to see what happens between them, if this relationship will ever get fixed. I mean, when we spoke to Louis at BravoCon, he was very much open to repairing this relationship. I don't know about Teresa and Joe, but we'll have to wait and see.
I think a big factor in it is Melissa Gorga, too, because I think Melissa Gorga kind of has a hold on her husband. So whatever Melissa says goes.
I totally agree with you. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into this week's Real Talk. And we caught up with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Heather Gay, who teased her upcoming drama with Jen Shah and that black eye moment. Take a look.
And it seemed like the trip to San Diego was anything but fun, even though you guys wanted it to be fun so bad. Were you expecting things to go that south while you were there?
I mean, I have watched Housewives my entire life, so I know that cast trips tend to go south. But I did not anticipate the way that trip torpedoed. No.
Yeah, no. It seems like you and Jen kind of really go at it in the upcoming episodes. Did she really want you to pick between her and Angie H? And like you said before, you guys are still close friends, but did this put a strain on your relationship?
I mean, it put a strain on that dinner and that conversation for sure. But Jen, Shah, and I, we throw down hard and we bounce back high. And we are no stranger to strong words within amongst each other. But that's kind of how friendship is. You can fight hard and recover quickly. And I had hoped for that. And I had assumed that with Whitney, and it just hasn't been the case.
Yeah. Has it been hard watching back this season, knowing that she pled guilty and still maintained her innocence to all of you? Has that been difficult for you?
It's been difficult for me to watch her manage all of that, and to see what she's facing, because I think of Jen as much more than just, this fascinating person on television. She's a mother, she's a sister, she's a daughter, she's a cousin. She is very, very integrated in her family and in her community. And her pleading guilty affected, she had to answer to so many other people. The last person on that list should be me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were you concerned for her at this time? Because Meredith said she was concerned for Jen at that time, like during the San Diego trip. Were you? Yeah.
I mean, I'm always concerned and also amazed at Jen's ability to be resilient and to be strong and to I know that a lot of people, this might not be a great quality, but to be fun and to be enthusiastic when you're facing like the type of things she's facing, that's a quality that I admire in people. I like someone that can show up and be a good time girl, even with the weight of the world on their shoulders. And Jen is that friend, she can put aside her own things and really show up and be a great, great person to be around.
Yeah. What did you think about Angie K and Dana? Well, what dynamics did they bring to the group this season?
Well, listen, I say fresh meat is chum in the water. So, go for it, ladies. It's, I like meeting new people. I like making new friends. It's a little bit different making friends under the auspices of a television show, because you never understand what people's motivations are going to be. And I think I'm just learning now to stand back a little bit and watch and not fall head first in love with people immediately, but to take a little bit more time and to, just wait, be a little more patient to see how things unfold.
Everybody's been talking about this black eye moment since we saw the trailer. I mean, I know you can't tell me exactly what goes down, but what can you tease about it? And was somebody trying to break into your hotel room? Like this footage that we're seeing is kind of crazy.
It was not a hotel room.
Okay.
It was the Airbnb that we were staying at in San Diego.
Okay. So it's coming soon.
Yes. But I'll tell you, when I saw the jiggle of that door handle, I didn't know that there were hidden cameras in my room. So when I saw the season, the trailer for the second half of the season, and I saw me in a towel approaching the door and them jiggling the handle, that was footage that, one, I didn't know was being recorded, and two, had no idea. So I am now waiting with the rest of America to see what unfolds.
Oh my God. I cannot wait. There's so many theories going around out there about what could have happened, but did that change things for you going forward?
Well, I mean, listen, it's not the first time I've had a black eye. It's probably not going to be the last time I've had a black eye. You wake up with a black eye, you move on, you make the best of it. You try not to let it affect your life too much.
I'm so ready for this. It is interesting to me when Heather talks about Jen and, knowing what we know about her, she's so resilient. She's so amazing. I'm like, but she's about to go to jail for all this time. I don't know if I could really stand by my friend like that.
No, I think I'd be keeping a distance from Jen Shah right now. I mean, I guess on the show, they don't know, but in this interview, she knows that she.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm.
Well, we also caught up with Lindsay Hubbard from Winter House, and she went on a double date with Ashley Darby and Luke Gumbelson. And she said the sparks were flying. So take a look.
There's all these rumors going around that Luke and Ashley Darby are dating. Are you totally for that relationship?
I mean, I am for whatever makes both of them happy and comfortable. I know that she has a lot going on. that she has still to figure out within, her last relationship. So listen, as long as both of them are happy and they are having fun, then really that's all that matters. But yeah, I mean, if Luke wants to go for it, if it makes him, excited and feel all the feels, then, I'm right there rooting him on.
I'm here for it. I just want that. I want that, that TikTok. Well, I know you guys did that TikTok video together. So
yeah, she loves TikToks. And we're we were at the, oh my God, we were at the Commanders game and in a suite. And she was like, we have to do this TikTok. And I'm like, I don't even know the dance.
Did you see like a good chemistry between the two of them though?
Yeah, they were really, really cute. They were holding hands and he had his arm around her and on the small of her back. And Luke's always just been very, sweet with a love interest, but I haven't really seen him with many of them. But from what I saw from him and Ashley, he was really sweet with her.
I love this. She said that they were holding hands. He was stroking her back. I'm here for it.
I want to see Ashley in Winter House.
Me too. Oh my God. We need a housewife in Winter House.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's recap this week's episodes, kicking it off with Salt Lake City and the no fun trip to San Diego.
First of all, I had to double check that they were in San Diego because I was like, this looks like a beach destination. Like maybe I just need to go to San Diego for my next beach trip.
Seriously. Well, it's beautiful. It's so much fun. But yeah, I mean, hopefully your trip will be a lot more fun than this one.
This was all right. We got to start with Jen pouring the drink on Angie's head. I mean, they hadn't even unpacked their bags yet. And this happened. What did you think about this whole situation?
This was just totally, she just took this way too far. Like she was not joking. This was like this was like not a fun bitch moment. This was a mean bitch moment. Yeah. Like she's just mad that she,
yeah.
Yeah. Like she just hijacked this, yes, I get it. Jen set up this trip, but Angie set up this house. So she was just, taking everybody around on this tour. And I mean, if she booked the house, she should kind of get the master suite.
Totally. I mean, that house is gorgeous. I would have taken any one of the rooms. But yeah, pouring, first of all, it almost looked like it was in slow motion. It was like the slowest drink pour over someone's head I've ever seen. It was like kind of anticlimactic because she like in her head couldn't decide if she wanted it to seem like a joke or not. So it was just weird. And like, I don't get why she did it. And then she poured it over her own head.
I feel like she like realized what she did in the moment. She was like, oh crap, like I better try to save this. And she just couldn't. Angie just was not going to let this one go. And I guess we don't realize, because we've never really seen Angie on the show before, but they had like this 20-year friendship. So this goes back a long time. And, this is not just a random person that they just kind of threw into the mix. This is definitely like a good friend of hers and such a good friend that she threw her this huge party for her husband and never asked for money towards it. So what's your opinion? If you host a party for somebody, should you expect them to pay for it?
I've gone back and forth on this. Okay. Yes. So Jen Shah threw Meredith that birthday party that she says was $80,000. I don't think it was $80,000. I think if you offer to host, I think you pay.
I think so too.
Unless you set it up in the beginning where it's like, you can use my house, and bring everything in, but like, and I'll provide this and you provide that. You kind of got to have that conversation before you go and spend all that money.
I think so too. And she also kind of double billed this as a housewarming party too. So it wasn't it wasn't just a birthday party for Coach. It was also a housewarming party. So maybe Jen should have offered, been like, if you want me to chip in to like kind of split the cost or do something like that, maybe that should have been discussed beforehand. But if nothing was discussed and you don't ask, then I feel like this is kind of a moot point.
Also, let's be honest. Angie offered to have that party because she wanted to be on the Housewives.
Oh, 100%. And wanted to show off that ridiculous house. I mean, like, I get it.
Yeah. And I love how she was like, I could have bought my daughter a horse with that money, but I did buy my daughter a horse. Just with other
these women. I can't with these women. I just really can't.
She's a good addition, though. I think she's a pretty good addition.
I like her, and I like Dana too. I think that they're both really good additions to this show. It makes you not really miss Mary all that much, and
Right.
And the other one, whatever her name was, I don't remember. No, I don't remember what her name was. But then it's just so funny to me that everything goes down in the Sprinter van on Salt Lake City from like every single season. It's so great. I love it.
At least they have cameras in the Sprinter van this time.
Yes, it's serious. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Salt Lake City Housewives producers, for making sure that every moment is always captured.
Always.
And like you said, what were your thoughts on Dana being invited? Do you think, I mean, obviously this was producers being like, you have to invite her.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm happy she's there because I enjoy a good trip with all the girls. Yes, it was Jen Shah's trip, but like, it's always a joke to me. Like, who actually is paying for this? Isn't it like a trade out that Bravo set up with whatever house company this is? Like, I don't think any of the women are paying for these trips.
I don't think so either. No, definitely
and
not.
She should have every right to go. Unless it's like when on Beverly Hills, when they actually go to like Kyle's house, that's a different story. But these are like, I mean, that wasn't anyone's actual house, right?
It was Angie's friend's house, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Andrew footed the bill for this one too.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? All right, let's move on over to Potomac. We, there was 2 episodes that we kind of missed that we didn't get to recap because so much went down between Mia and Wendy and this whole fight. Pouring the drink over her head, throwing her bag at her.
Yeah.
It's these ladies really bring it. They really do.
Ever poured a drink over someone's head?
No, maybe back in college when I was like really drunk or something.
Maybe, yeah, that's true. I did like winery trips always get a little blurry for me out east on Long Island. Like I think I punched my sister once, or she punched me. I'm forgetting. That could have been an episode of Housewives. My sister's different than a friend. I wouldn't do that.
Right. I would never punch my friend.
I'd definitely punch my sister.
Yes, I would punch my sister too. Sorry, Alana.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, these girls are crazy. Like not crazy, but like these girls really go in on it and, make a great housewife show. They really do. So yeah. They go back to the house. Wendy leaves. Mia wants to kick out Ashley and Candace for going to see Wendy after all this. It just seems like Mia, and even at the end when, Karen's like, hey, remember, this is my birthday. Like Mia just wants to kind of control the situation and just will kind of do anything to get everybody on her side and, kind of control this trip. But these girls, oh my.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good season. Definitely.
Yeah. I just thought that Peter Thomas is the cause of all this drama, which is so strange to me.
Yes. It's the house husbands on Potomac are a good part of the show. Mm-hmm. And even though he's not even technically on Potomac, but the men on Potomac have a good storylines this season.
No, totally. And I agree, because we've always talked about this. Like sometimes like the house husbands, it just feels forced. This doesn't feel forced. Yeah, like Salt Lake City. I really, Potomac is great this season. It really is. These ladies are great. Yeah. All right, let's move on to our social spotlight of the week and who caught our attention on social media. So who caught your attention, Mandy?
All right. Well, this was something that Brielle Bierman posted, but it was reposted by a lot of people. So she went on the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast this week and said that she's getting some very interesting direct messages from a lot of different people on her Instagram. And according to the reality star, several people who have contacted her are married or in a public relationship and come from fellow Bravo stars and are very well-known individuals. So she's saying that married Bravo celebrities are DMing her. Interesting.
That's nuts.
I have to know in the comments, who do you think is DMing Brielle Bierman? Do you have any guesses?
Yes, please let us know. But that's so shady and so gross.
I mean, someone commented, this is so mean, but so funny. Someone commented Croy or stepdad or whatever. That was kind of funny.
That is pretty funny.
I don't know who it is. Who do you think it is?
I have no
one of
idea.
The Southern Charm people, maybe.
Maybe.
But like none of them are really in relationships at this point.
No, not married.
No, they're not married.
Thomas? Like
Thomas.
I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, please let us know in the comments.
Maybe a Jersey husband?
Maybe. Or like maybe an Atlantic husband since her mom was on.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So that would make sense. Close proximity.
I don't know. Let us know, guys, what you think.
Let us know. Well, speaking of Atlanta, Porsha Williams wed her husband Simon Guobadia over Thanksgiving weekend in probably the most extravagant weddings I've ever seen. They had two ceremonies, a Nigerian-themed ceremony and a traditional ceremony. She wore 7 different wedding dresses. It was insane. So her first wedding had about 250 guests. Her second wedding had 350 guests. Kim Zolciak was there, Candy Burris, Cynthia Bailey, so many different people. And this was seriously, I've never seen anything like it. The dresses were absolutely stunning. It looked like quite the event.
I wish I was there. I know. I was seeing everyone posting from it. I'm like, I'm going to be there.
I know. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But good for them. Hopefully a lifetime of love and happiness. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Getting Real with the Housewives. If you want some more Housewives news, head on over to usmagazine.com. Listen to our Getting Real with the Housewives podcast. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.